Today we're here to talk about K-dramas that if you are in the K-drama scene or you watch K-dramas as a person, you should have watched in your life. And I'm going to talk about 5 of those K-dramas. These are K-dramas that are hits K-dramas, and they were like what most of us were introduced to when we first got into the K-drama scene. So if this is something you like, click on the subscribe button, comment, like, and share, and let's get building a community. I love every one of you, and I'm so glad that you're here. So if you want a little introduction, my name is Ifa Obiwa Amwa, but I go as student on this channel, and I talk about Asian movies, K-dramas, and everything Asia, basically. And today we're here to talk about the 5 K-dramas that I think everybody who is in the K-drama space should have watched before. So let's get into the video. Number 5 on my list, I have Boys Over Flowers. Now, Boys Over Flowers is basically navigating the life of 4 boys who are the top boys in the high school that they are going to, and everything, their lifestyle in the school. And this girl, who is a working class girl who gets a scholarship to go to the same school as these boys. These 4 boys that are the top boys in the school are the most popular boys. They are rich and everything. And this girl comes, she's a working class girl, she's working, she comes to their school, and then she basically is schooling with them now. So Boys Over Flowers is navigating their lifestyle. It's basically talking about love triangles between 2 of those boys, their leader and one quiet guy in the friend group. It's basically navigating their life, the bullying, the struggles, and everything that they were going through in school. And that is number 5 on my list. I'm sure most of you have watched Boys Over Flowers. So yes, Boys Over Flowers is number 5. Number 4 is some K-drama that I feel like anybody who claims they watch K-drama shouldn't say they've never watched it in their life, because it's a K-drama that everybody should have watched, and it is The Heirs. The Heirs is similar to Boys Over Flowers, but this is not a friend group. It's basically a high school plot K-drama, and the lead actor in Boys Over Flowers is in The Heirs. So Lee Min-ho, when we were growing up, Lee Min-ho was the K-drama OG. Like most K-dramas, you find them inside, you find him inside, you find like similar faces. And I was telling myself that the actors that are in The Heirs, if a K-drama director wants to make such a K-drama again, that budget, they can't use it to make any K-drama with all of those stars inside, because that K-drama was very star-studded. It would be very difficult to get all of these actors who have made it big in life to come back and like star in one K-drama. So yes, The Heirs. The Heirs basically centers on the life of a boy whose father, he was estranged. He went abroad and he met this girl that he fell in love with, and it turns out that the girl that he fell in love with is a maid whose mother is also a maid, and they work in his house and they live there. So he's a chebo, he's rich, and then she's not poor, she's not rich, so she's living in their house, she's on scholarship, the chairman pays for her school fees and everything, and basically they fall in love. Is navigating their life as high schoolers, falling in love, the power struggle because he's from a rich family and she's not, and the male lead's rival also likes her, so it's also navigating the love triangle between her, the male lead, and the second male lead, and basically their life in high school and how it is going. So that is what The Heirs is also about. As number 3, I have Pinocchio. Personally, I feel like a lot of people may have not watched Pinocchio, but if you're an OG K-drama lover, you should have watched Pinocchio, because I feel like in the OG K-dramas, it has one of the best plots, because normally in K-dramas, in the past, it was normally rich boy, poor girl, and a damsel in distress, and he's saving her. But now, that K-drama wasn't about rich boy, poor girl, or anything. It was basically about two people as in how they met in circumstances is like really dire, and if things were supposed to go normally, they wouldn't have even met. So there's this boy who is a smart boy, and he lives with his mother, brother, and father. The father is a firefighter, and they're a normal family. He's studying hard and everything. They are full family, they are smart. So yes, One day there's this fire that the father goes to fight and he doesn't come out alive. But instead of him to be appraised as a hero, the whole Korea keeps blaming his father that he's the one that caused it for the rest of the firefighters to die. So the mother couldn't take the grief and then the blame alone. Like, she couldn't take it, she couldn't handle it. So she decided that she was going to commit suicide with her son. And so she took the youngest and then they jumped into the water. But luckily or unfortunately, the mother died, but luckily the boy was saved by a fisherman who decided to take care of him as his son. Now, the fisherman had a son who died when the child was younger, so he took him as his son. So in the fisherman's head, he thinks the boy is his child, basically. Now, the boy had a brother, but the brother wasn't there when the mother was deciding to go and commit suicide with the younger one. So yes, he's alive. Anyways, this young boy grows up, and in the house that he grows up in, there was this girl that the mother brought to come and live there in the village with them. And her father is the fisherman who saved him's child. And basically, they grew up together. They're in high school, everything. He likes her, but he has not told her. And he has been pretending to be dumb. He has been sleeping in class, been getting zeros. It's like he has no will to live. But there was this one quiz that they were doing in, like, it's like a trivia or something, and he decides to apply for it, gets it, and wins it, basically, to prove to the girl that he's smart. And yeah, basically, it's navigating their love story, revenge, hatred, and all of those things. It's a really good plot, and I think if you are an OG K-drama person, you should have watched it. But if you've not watched it, you should be glad, because it is on YouTube. That's how old and good the K-drama is. So you can find it on YouTube and watch it. I think it's 20 episodes or something, but it's very, very good, and I believe you'd like it. Trust me, I loved every episode of that K-drama, and I think you'd love it. It stars Lee Jong Suk and Park Shin Shye and a couple of others, and it's a really interesting K-drama. So if you've not watched it, you should watch that K-drama, because it's a very, very good K-drama in my opinion. As number 2, I have What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. Now, growing up, one of the K-drama actors that I personally fell in love with his work was Park Seo Joon. I don't know, I just watched this K-drama one day and I loved it, mainly because the K-drama that I watched, he had this bromance with V from BTS, and it made me love the two of them. So I'm a little biased towards Park Seo Joon, but anyways, he's the second on the list. His K-drama is the second on the list. If you've not watched What's Wrong with Secretary Kim, then I wonder, how were you introduced to the K-drama world? Because there's one K-drama that everybody should have watched by this time in their life. Because What Is Wrong with Secretary Kim is that K-drama of K-dramas. So it stars Park Seo Joon and Park Bin Young. Basically, it's about them navigating their lives as adults, but the catch is that when they were younger, the two of them found themselves in a shady place where some woman was committing suicide, and she decided to kidnap them to watch. And he, being the oldest among the two of them, he decided to protect her. So he made her think it was a spider that was rather dying. So she grew up having a phobia of spiders, and he grew up with all the trauma from the woman committing suicide and having that trauma. Fast forward, she grows up, when they are able to get out of there, she tells him to promise her that she'll marry her as they were younger, because she learns that he's from a rich family, and she decided that she's shooting her shot. It was so cute. But anyways, they grow up. Fast forward, they grow up. She's looking for her. She ends up in this company, and this boss is stressing her, not knowing he has discovered that she's the girl from his childhood that told him to promise her to marry her. So he decides that, okay, fine. He basically helps her learn about 5 or 4 languages. He trains her and stuff, and she realizes that she's fed up of him. So she decided that she would stop becoming a secretary. Hence the title, What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. She decided that she stopped being a secretary. She can't do this again. And yeah, Basically, that's the whole K-drama and everything that is about it. It's a very lovely K-drama, and I feel like if you watch it, you would love it as a person. So everybody who has not watched What's Wrong with Secretary Kim should give it a try and let me know how it goes. It's a very interesting K-drama. I think it's 20 episodes or 16, I've forgotten. But I promise you'd love it. So if you're an OG and you've watched it, I know you'd testify that it was a good K-drama. At number one, drum roll please. At number one, I have Hwarang. The reason why I chose Hwarang as my number one is because I loved the K-drama. I don't know, maybe it is not as popular as I might have loved it, but I loved it. So Hwarang stars Kim Tae-hyun, also known as V from BTS. It stars Park In-sik from Strong Man Do Bong-soo. It stars Park Seo-joon and a couple of other K-drama actors. It stars Go Ara as the female lead and everything. Hwarang is basically the OG Checking Hanyang. So if you've watched Checking Hanyang before, it's basically the selected people who has become incubus, but instead of this one becoming incubus, I feel like Hwarang's own was Korean Knights. So these young women applied to become Korean Knights and they were selected and they are being trained to become fighters for the nation. So it's navigating their life in the palace and how they are being trained to become fighters for the nation. Park In-sik is a prince, but Park Seo-joon is also a prince, but his friendship is sort of complicated. I feel like it's those Joseon era and those I took your throne, my brother took your throne, those sorts of things. So basically, he's navigating their life as training to become knights. V dies in a K-drama though, sadly. That's the spoiler I'll give you. He dies in a K-drama, but it's still a very, very good K-drama. Navigating their lives in becoming knights, discovering secrets, and then basically a love triangle and everything. And it was a very feel-good K-drama to watch, and I enjoyed it. If it's historical, I guess that's what makes me like a little bit of historical dramas, because I'm a big fan of romance, so anything romance, I go for it. Yes, so basically, those are the 5 K-dramas that I believe everyone who is in the K-drama space or who says they watch K-dramas, they love K-dramas should know or should be like you should know or be aware about that. These are the K-dramas. These are some OG K-dramas. Let me know what K-dramas you think I should have mentioned that I didn't mention in the comments, and obviously I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for watching and bye bye.